What's better than having your own personalized arcade cabinet to play Street Fighter V or any other fighting games? Well, that's right. Having two arcade cabinets to play your fighting games. Hello, everyone. This is Banyuki here again with another video. This is another extension sit-down arcade cabinet. This one is very similar to the other one that I have. This one's set up for a 43-inch screen, and as you can see, that has my much lauded TCL S405 4K screen, and this thing is great, still standing strong. We use it pretty often. It's a great setup. A friend of mine had to relocate. He got a job at Nintendo, and shout out to him. And he was like, "Hey Steve, I got this cabinet here," and he was actually the one I mentioned in my video long ago when I got this whole pedestal set up. He was the one that had this cabinet that said, "Wow, man, I really like the way this looks. I'd like to have my own in my home." So I went and got the one. I didn't get the whole setup like he did. I just got the mount and all that, and then I put in my own screen. But as you can see, now on YouTube, you're not going to tell the resolution difference, but these two panels are quite excellent, even though they're from different brands. This one is the TCL S405. But this one is a Vizio D series. That's right, D series from 2017. Now, here's the issue. There's a 1080p model out there, which I would prefer to get, but it's an IPS screen. Then there's a 720p model that is a VA panel. And I was standing at the store at a Target, and they had both of them. And I made the decision to go with the 720p one, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But as you can see here, I've got the colors pretty much exact between the two. And through the phone, because I can't really tell the resolution, just standing in front of them, they looked pretty exact. So I did a pretty good job of matching the colors, getting the white balance very similar to between both of them. Input delay is unfortunately not as nice as the TCL. The TCL is rated for about 13 to 14 millisecond. And this boy is only around 22 to 24. So it does have an extra 10 millisecond of lag. It is over 1 frame of lag, but it's close. It's about similar to what you would find in like a FrameMeister. But it plays fine. Motion blur is not bad. It does have its PWM flickering. It's not as bad as the old D series with that, what was it called? Clear action, where it would, flicker so much it actually hurt your eyes. It was like looking at interlace. But it's actually pretty decent. But the cabinet itself is not bad. It's made of the same material. If you have one of these, you pretty much know that they almost look like identical from the waist on down. It's got a shelf down there. Inside, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I got a PlayStation 3, modded Xbox for 720p, and I'll get that to that in a moment. And I have a Haswell 4690K Devil's Canyon CPU inside this Lenovo M93 ThinkCenter, which, inside has a 1050 Ti. It's got, I believe, 8 or 16 gigs of RAM, DDR3. So it's a decent machine. It does what I need it to do, which is emulation. And, of course, Street Fighter V, King of Fighters 14, games of that nature. And in 720p, the 1050 Ti just runs it no problems. So you're probably saying to yourself, well, why'd you go for a 720 instead of getting the, the IPS 1080p? Well, the VA panel has much better contrast, and I've had very poor experiences with IPS in the past. And the big thing about IPS that makes it good, where it's like, oh yeah, I could see the allure of IPS, is the viewing angles. But when you're sitting here on an arcade cabinet, you're pretty much dead on. I mean, you're actually pretty close, and you do suffer the resolution loss, but overall, game looks okay. Input delay isn't amazing, but it gets the job done. It's a good secondary screen in the room. Say people playing something on this screen, we can go over and play something else on this screen. So it is a nice setup here. And the 720p, it's native. So that means the component in that I have in there on this TV, it does have component in. I can send the Xbox 720p images, no problem. PS3, a lot of its games are running in 720p. So I felt with the resolution loss, you get a lot of performance gain, especially out of that 1050 Ti. I mean, it's running Street Fighter V maxed out in 720p. It's just not a challenge for it. So, Vizio has another screen in my house, which, I've kind of gotten away from them and been lauding the TCLs. But the 32-inch TCL version that I was supposed to get just didn't get delivered in time, and its component in the ports of the component were coming outwards, and you'll notice when you try to mount this screen inside this cabinet that you actually have to have the ports facing downwards. It's actually part of the documentation that comes with the cabinet. You want all your ports facing downwards. So do understand that you are basically putting this LCD into a mount, so any of those ports that are going outwards just simply won't do unless you start drilling holes through the mount, which to me is counterintuitive. Anyway, folks, just another RecRoomMasters, giving them props, and of course, big props to my friend who, good luck at Nintendo. Hopefully he does a great job over there. Hopefully he could talk to them about some Switch prices, but I don't think that's going to be his department. But big thanks to him, and, he's got a big heart for helping me out, giving me this. He just basically said, hey, I don't have the room for it in my new place. You have a house, so it's on you. So karma is interesting, because I actually had an arcade cabinet I gave to another friend, and he left for New York, and he basically sold my cabinet. So I was pretty sour about that, but 3 years later, someone does me a favor. So everyone, just keep your heads up high and don't try to hold grudges with anyone. Good things will happen to you. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Take care.